What's up, everybody? Today we are going to get real comfortable with ourselves because we're going to be taking self-portraits, and I hate it already. Now for today's shoot, I'm going to be using the A6500. I've got a 16 to 70 millimeter lens. I use an ND filter every once in a while that I just screw on the top of the lens. I've got a small little flash. I'll link to everything that I'm using in the blog post below. I've got one light. Now, if you don't have a light, it's okay. Just use a window because it's enough natural light for these photos. They don't require a really big, powerful light. So for the first photo, we're gonna do a long exposure. Now, usually when you think long exposure, you think turn off all the lights or in the dark outside. But for now, I just close all the windows and I turn my light down as much as I could. So if you don't have a light, maybe just close all the windows. For this one, I had a shutter of 5 seconds. My ISO was 800 and my f-stop was, I think, f18. Now the general aesthetic of a long exposure portrait has that kind of trail of your face as it moves across the frame. So I chose 5 seconds to give myself a time to start and then move across. Now, if you have an iPhone, you can actually take a long exposure shot of yourself also. Just turn on the live button on the top left corner, then set the timer for either 3 or 10 seconds. Then get in position, take the photo. And then, once you're done, just look at the photo and then swipe up, and you'll see at the bottom, there's live, loop, bounce, and then long exposure. And voila. All right, now we're gonna take this effect a little bit further and we're gonna add a flash. And then to add even more, we're gonna add a gel to the flash. Now, if you don't have a gel, you can use a plastic bag and Sharpie color on the plastic bag, or you can just use any kind of translucent material. Just put it over the flash or your lens. And for this next one, I just wanted to visually represent what we're all doing, which is sitting on Instagram, scrolling, wondering what the hell we're doing with our lives. Or is that just me? And I just used Aperture's little ALM9. I put it on the front of my camera, got underneath the tripod, and basically turned off all the lights and lowered the aperture. Now for this one, I'm going to take that ALM9 and I'm basically going to turn it on and I'm going to write something in the air. And I'm going to keep the shutter open for about 20 to 30 seconds to give myself enough time to write something or to create something in the air. I also want enough time to hold the light so it can expose my face a little bit so you can tell who I am. This next one goes out to all the body parts out there. Props. Now, I originally wanted to take a photo with my skateboard because I'm slowly getting back into skateboarding. I took a nice 10, 12-year break from it. But I thought, it means something to me, so I'll take a photo with it. And then I just started seeing things around the house and grabbing them and taking photos with them. So self-portrait, hold something, just, if you've seen any of my videos before on this channel, you know I'm really into film photography. I actually started my own channel on it. You can check it out below. Yes, that was a plug. I don't care. But one of the things that you can do with film photography is double exposures. So you basically just take a photo and then you take another photo on top of that photo. And so you get 2 exposures on one negative. What we can do with our digital cameras and with our phones is we can just take 2 separate photos, bring them into Photoshop, and then you just lower the opacity after you've put one on top of the other. And it just kind of creates a cool look. I don't know any other way to describe it except for a cool look. But then I was also like, wait a minute, I can also just replace my head. So I used the quick selection tool, and I just cut my head out and then deleted it and then brought the other image in. And there are way better examples of that, but I figured, why not? Now I knew I wanted to take a mirror selfie, but one of the hard things about taking a mirror selfie, well, I didn't want to take a selfie. I wanted to take a self-portrait of myself in a mirror. So in order to do that, it's hard because, one, you don't want the camera to be seen. And if you're kind of pointed up towards the mirror, you want there to be light hitting your face. So you can't put the light behind you, and usually you can't fit the light in front of you. So what I ended up doing is just sitting right by the window. But I also highly recommend just taking mirror selfies in general. So for this last one, I'm just calling it a dramatic self-portrait because that's what it is. It's basically just sticking the light on one side of your face so that the light casts over the bridge of your nose and it's just shadow on this side of or the opposite side of the face. Now, if you can't control the light enough for this, you can just bring the photo into Lightroom Photoshop and just use a brush and darken the other side a little bit. And then you can even like make it more dramatic by adding a vignette and then making it black and white. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want more photography related content, comment below. And yeah, I know this was pretty easy, but I figured, why not? Self-portraits? Why not?